Let me know if you can hear me because last week I had some technical difficulties. I just want to make sure everybody can hear me before we go too far. I see there's a couple people on, so I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me. All right, guys, I just want to make sure that you can hear me, so let me know if you can hear me okay. All right, I just tested it. Awesome, awesome. All right, guys, so today what I wanted to talk about with everybody is if you are working with your donkey and they start off doing well, and then all of a sudden they're not doing as well anymore. Now, it's easy to think, and I have thought this myself before, that your donkey's just tired. But what if it has nothing to do with them being tired? So, what I've had happen myself, and this has been at home as well as even doing like different events, is I start off asking whether it's groundwork or under saddle. So, when I start off, they're doing really good. They seem to understand, they're rocking it, and then all of a sudden, maybe they're stepping over top of me or they're not doing a good job responding to the questions that I ask them. And it's easy to think, oh, the donkey's just being stubborn or they're tired. But what if it's something else? What if what's happening has nothing to do with their physical or mental state of mind? What if it's just that we haven't been clear with our clarity that they've found the right answer? So, what can happen is that you ask a question, they find the right answer, and then you go back to asking a new question, right? And when that happens, your donkey never knows if they have the right answer. So then they start saying, well, why keep trying? Or I'll try to find a different answer to their question because I haven't found the right answer yet. Now, in order to help us not have this happen, that's what this whole live is going to be about, guys. Now, when we're working with our donkey and we're watching how are they doing, right? We don't want to just watch are they coming up with the right answer, but how well are they going through the motions of doing it? Do they seem to understand? Do they seem frustrated or overwhelmed? Are they responsive? Are they responding quickly or do they need a lot of time to think it all over? You know, that whole 7 to 10 business days. And all of that is going to tell us where they're at with their mind. Because often donkeys, we start off clear and responsive, and then maybe we have a timeline, we're working off from an agenda, we want to do A, B, and C, and then maybe we're stopping and we're not giving them as many breaks. We're not being as clear with our responses to them. And then slowly they change where they're not trying as hard, they're slow, and maybe they're searching for answers that aren't even close to what we're asking from them. So that's the mistake that a lot of people make is they're going through the motions and they forget to give their donkeys a break. It's usually not about physical energy, and if the donkey was truly tired, it would steadily decline, right? Their performance would steadily decline. But instead, what I see, and this happened with Wild Donkey when I was working with her this week, she started off, I was asking her to do circles. I was making a video for doing circles and just groundwork, teaching them to lead. And she started off rocking it. And then all of a sudden she was starting to walk over top of me. And, I had said to Hannah was recording for me at the time. And I'm like, you know what? I haven't given her any breaks. And Hannah said to me, well, Mom, she's not tired. Like she's totally capable of doing this. But the break, it doesn't have anything to do with if she's physically tired. It's just to let her know that she's found the right answer. I'm looking at my notes so I don't forget things, guys. Now, if you guys are curious, Dan is off at a board meeting for the horse group that we belong to. So that's why he's not with us. And I was going to do this outside with Wild Donkey Ah. However, it's been raining off and on, so I didn't want to get stuck in the rain. So I've had moments, especially with Wild Donkey Ah, where I'm asking her questions and I think, oh my gosh, she's just so tired. She needs a break, right? I'm asking too much of her. We've been riding for an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours. Like maybe she just needs a break. But often when I have this stuff happen, it's like when I'm in an arena. And that's where we have to be uber clear about, yeah, you found the right answer. Well, hey there, CCB508 says, welcome to Burro Buddy. So you must have just joined. Thanks for joining. And if you guys don't know what that is, so Burro Buddy, it's one of our tiers. So I have different tiers for memberships, and Burro Buddy is just supporting training wild burros. So thank you guys all, everybody who's out there that's a member. It's Christy. Awesome. I'm so glad you're watching. And then if you are a Burro Buddy, so that's it's just supporting me. So thank you so much for supporting me. And then there's also other tiers. So the other tiers that are out there are Burro Trainer, and with that one you get extra videos, extra lives, that kind of stuff where I can just help break things down even smaller. So sometimes what happens is I'm making videos and maybe the video is a half hour long or 20 minutes long. Loretta's mom. Oh, yes. I'm so glad you're here. Thanks for joining us. So I'll be making the videos and I'll be making a video of what we're up to, what we're training on. But then with the Burrow trainer tier, I break it down where I take like that 30-minute, 20-minute video and I break it down into just a few minutes. And that way you have something you can bring with. Oh, good. I'm so glad you can hear. That way you have something you can bring with you to the barn, and that way you know that here are the steps to start to teach to lead or introduce a saddle, packing, riding, whatever you're working on. So I'm here to help you guys along the way. So with your donkey who is starting off doing well, like Wild Donkey Ah was, and then all of a sudden maybe they're walking over top of you or they're not responding or they're acting tired. Sometimes what's happening is that we just haven't given them a break. Remember, the break is not because they are tired. That break has nothing to do with being tired. It has everything to do with saying, good job, you found the right answer. Now I'm going to give you 10 or 30 seconds or 5 minutes of a break. Now, no, with breaks, it can be, if we're in the arena often, you're going to want that break just to be you stop. If you're doing groundwork, you just stop and you don't ask them any questions. Give them 10 seconds, 20 seconds just to be thinking and being like, oh, cool, I found the right answer. She's leaving me alone. And then when you're under saddle, it could be you're asking for turns or moving all four legs individually, and then you just let them walk, right? Where we're not asking them any questions during that moment. Now, if they're truly, like I said earlier, if they're truly tired, they're going to decline. Their steadiness will decline just consistently. But if they're mentally like getting on overload because we're not being clear enough, then we just have to give those breaks. Remember the 4 C's of training: curiosity, connection, clarity, cooperation. Those are the 4 C's of training. So mental processing, you guys have heard me talk about how a donkey needs 7 to 10 business days to think about what's happening. Now, can you imagine if you have your boss, you're talking to your boss, and then your kid is also asking you, or your spouse is asking you questions. Now, what your boss is saying, you need to be paying attention and hearing it. And then what your kids or your spouse is asking you, well, you can't process all of that at the same time. And the donkeys are the same way. So we need to ask them a question, then leave them alone and let them think about the answer so they can find that answer. We all know that they're smart. They're smart as a whip, these donkeys are. And they learn everything so much faster than we do. We need the practice. They get it really quick. So when we can ask the question and say, good job, you found the answer, you found the right answer, and we leave them alone for a little bit, we're going to really help them want to work with us. We're going to help them feel good around us, and then they're going to want to be with us. So when they're processing, they're trying to find the answer and they're trying to make sense of everything. And that's where our timing of our pressure, our release, and our expectations, they come into, they are really a big deal. Because when we are even like 1 second off with our timing, our donkeys notice it. So the better we get, and even myself, we're always working on that, right? So yourself and myself, we're always working on getting better timing. But the better we can be with our timing, the quicker the donkey is going to understand, because they are going to be like, oh wow, she is clear with me. She's offering clarity, or he is offering clarity. And then they're going to understand what we're asking. When their processing gets overloaded because we're unclear, then the performance is just going to drop, just like wildfire. Now, timing, when we're asking them to move a specific foot, if that foot is planted on the ground, it's going to be poor timing for us to ask when it's up. But if they're walking and they pick up that foot, well, now that's a good time to ask the question with that foot if we're asking them to move a specific foot. But people misread the situation. They think, oh, they're not trying anymore, or they're just lazy or stubborn. But that's not what I see. I see that they are trying, but they're just less successful because they don't know if we're not clear. Well, let's see here. The moment people miss was the next part I wanted to talk about. And this is the part that's going to change everything for all of us. The performance drop usually doesn't happen because you work them too long. Okay, so just keep working on that clarity. I was working with Honk the Donk, that's Dan's main ride, his that big giant donkey. And I was working on asking her to disengage her hind end or roll the hinds. So that's when the hind feet, one steps over in front of the other hind foot, depending on which direction you're going. And I was at a clinic and I'm like, gosh, she's doing it, but I kind of just feel like we're a robot, right? It doesn't feel very fluid. And it was all because my timing was off of asking her when her hind foot that I wanted her to move was already up. So when I waited for that hind foot to be up, then ask her to cross it in front, then I felt like a ballerina with her. It was really cool. So keep that clarity and your donkeys are going to work harder for you. Now, are you guys working? What are you guys working with on your donkeys right now? Christy is watching. I'm not sure who else is all watching, but what are you guys working on? Are you working on picking up feet or leading? Or are you working on like introducing a saddle? What kind of stuff are you guys working on? Just to give you guys an update, we brought home 12 new donkeys just a few days ago, and we have our adoption event coming up on the 18th. So that's going to be here before you know it. I'm very excited. And I'm in my office because the puppies are starting to get really loud. And I thought, you know what? It could be hard to do a go live in there if they start barking and carrying on. They've found their voice, guys. So start strong with your donkeys. Small moments, rewarding the try always helps me get a better try the next time I ask. So even sometimes just leaning, we can reward that because they're trying. But after they've leaned a few times, then we're going to ask for more. And we can keep building, kind of like climbing steps. And when we do that, we're offering them more clarity so that they can understand what we're asking. We don't have to assume that they're done just because they've slowed down. Assess whether or not we're doing a good job being clear with what we're asking and giving them a good release, right? And that release means stop asking as soon. Working with Amos on leading, that's Corey, and not fearing the flag. Big progress today, only after 15 to 20 minutes. That is awesome, Corey. Now, I did some videos a while back with the Ponderosa girls where I was really doing more with them to not be afraid of the flag, and it was kind of backfiring. So I talked to my mentor about it. And with donkeys, we only want to spend about 10% helping them not fear the flag because donkeys naturally will go into that freeze mode, right? So with the donkey, we're going to spend about 90% of the time getting that movement with the flag and 10% of the time helping them not fear it. And that way we can keep getting movement because what happens is once they start to decide that they don't need to move from the flag, we can ask and then we have to wave and you could even be tapping them on the rear and they won't move at all. Um, so don't spend too much time desensitizing them. Otherwise, we might lose all of our forward movement. That's something I learned the hard way. And I'm doing so many, you guys know that. I'm not even sure how many I've trained, but right now I have 8 in training. And Corey, yours is about ready to graduate. We'll probably be doing his video this week. Um, so I do a lot. So I get to kind of play with things back and forth and see what works the best. And that is pretty fun to get that extra knowledge and to see firsthand what works well. And because you might be talking, like I was at a different clinic and I saw them showing a mule not to be fearful of the flag. I'm like, oh, well, I'm going to go home and try that with my donkeys, right? But with the donkeys, they're different. Now, you could have a donkey that is super like moving forward, and then you would need to spend more time helping them not fear the flag. But in general, you only want to spend that 90% of time or 10% of time helping them not fear it. So I'm glad you're making progress. That's awesome. So, guys, like the big takeaway from this is if you're working with your donkey and they're rocking it and then they start to fall apart, even just a 15-minute break, like let them come down. I was helping my soon to be son in law with his mule today, and we worked with her for 15-30 minutes and then had her take a break. Now, she licked and chewed and all that while I was working with her. But guess what? It wasn't until we put her in a separate pen and started working with a different donkey instead of the mule. And she started to blow and did more licking and chewing when she was taking her 15-minute break. So those breaks really do make a big difference. And then how long you get to work with your donkey. Sometimes I'm working with a donkey, one animal for 3 hours. Now, that's not going to be a new wild, right? So, but like wild donkey, I could work her with her or honk the donk, ones that are been around. They're not fearing me or fearing people. So then I could do 3 hours, but having breaks consistently during that 3 hours is really, really important. We don't need to assume that they're done and stepping away from something. So, like, let's say you're working on forward movement, you could have a break where your break is that you're working on feet. Then you could give them like a 1 minute or 2 minute break of not doing anything to stand with them. Sometimes remember that your breaks, you want to stand with them and not pet them or touch them. And other times, go ahead and love on your donkeys. Like they need that too. But sometimes they really need that calm time where you're not asking them any questions at all and you're just letting them process. Just looking at my notes again, guys. Now, put it in the comments, guys, if you've seen your donkey start off strong and then start to fade away, and you're like, what happened? We were doing really good with this a little while ago, and all of a sudden now we're not. And what do you do? Do you try to push through it? Do you give them a break? Do you see them come through and pull through and start to do well again? I've changed how I do things because of this. Like, I'm pretty adamant about giving them breaks, even a whole 15 minutes. Sometimes that full 15 minutes, and then other times we could just change kind of what we're doing. Now, another thing I wanted to talk about is motivation. You guys know on my lives, I like to do a motivation piece. And what I wanted to talk about today for motivation is herd life management versus like checklist thinking. And because I'm such a type A personality, it can be very easy for me to get into that checklist mentality. So if you're thinking you're falling behind, you're working on feet. Awesome. Feet are so important. And I know Loretta has had some foot issues with some owies. And every time we can go out there and help her know, even if we don't clean them every time, if we can go out there and just help her know that we're here to make her feel good, then when they do have an owie, hopefully they're more willing to let us hold it, right? Hold their foot and tend to it. Because that can be so hard to work with their feet if they have an owie with their foot. So if you are working with your donkeys and you feel like you're falling behind, you're probably just getting into that checklist thinking. Not like a training, right? Training or life management, because we have to manage a lot of things. So a lot of people watching right now are they're hobbyists, right? You have your own donkey and it's not like a business, but it's something you get a lot of joy out of, and that's why you're busy doing it. And you're doing it alongside the rest of your life, your full-time job, your spouses, your kids, and all of the other stuff that you have going on. And I want to say this super clearly, guys. Just because you didn't get everything that you had planned out today does not mean that you failed. I'm personally in a season where I have one day now, one work day that I'm totally self-employed. So I quit my 9 to 5 job and now I'm just doing donkeys and YouTube and coaching and the clinics that are upcoming. And today I didn't get to all the animals I wanted to, right? But we did some different stuff. I didn't record any of it, but we roped some because I kind of wanted to pop the top. So I have some that are a little bit slow to trust. And you guys know I go super slow, and I've been going super slow with these guys for such a long time. Um, but now I kind of want to pop that top and help them search for a reason to look to me for to relax. And There's kind of different ways of doing things, and there's so many different ways to get something done, right? But today I was like, I didn't get to all the animals I wanted to get to. And I need to remember personally that it doesn't mean I failed. It means that I was managing the herd. I have some that are a little bit harder to get through to. So I focused on those today. But guess what? Yesterday I focused on all the ones that are ready to graduate. And so I'm dividing up my time. And there's some days that some get more and some are just waiting. And some days everybody gets a little bit. And some days the animals get a ton of attention, right? So if you're ever feeling like, oh my gosh, I didn't get to everything, no, this is a process, guys. So don't be too hard on yourself. Picking up and picking out, working with the farrier and leading back to the paddock after walks. Those are all super, super good things. Um, and remember when you're teaching them to pick up their feet so you can pick them out, we don't have to hold them for a long time. Picking them up more often and cleaning them. So, like, let's say I'm teaching one that's new to picking up its feet and cleaning the feet out. I might not finish cleaning it in one, having it picked up one time. I might pick up the foot 3 or 4 times to clean it out one time. And that's because the donkeys are learning to balance on 3 legs. And we might think that, oh my gosh, they have 4 legs. How could they not balance? Well, they need to be comfortable in the moment, right? So I could pick it up, and if they start to act like they're tensing up at all, put it down, give them a second, and it might just be 10 seconds, then I pick it back up again and go on to cleaning it. So this could be very repetitive, and again, when you're giving them those little tiny breaks to say, good job, you found the right answer, it might only be like 5 or 10 seconds, and then you just go right back to it again. But you're letting them know that even though I'm holding your foot and Loretta having that owie foot, I'm not going to hold it forever, girl. It's going to be okay. I'll give your foot right back and you're going to be okay. Letting them know that, helping them have comfort in that moment is really going to help you go a long ways. So cool that you joined us today. I know that this has been a hard time for you to jump on. So that's awesome that you're here. So I'm having to remind myself in real time that even though I didn't work with everybody I wanted to, I worked with some harder donkeys today. And hopefully it helps me make good progress. We did the same thing with Richard, who I've been working with since December. I'm now haltering him. So he has come a long way since we did this extra steps with roping him. And when I say roping, we're getting the rope around him. I've done it twice with him. And then we're just saying, um, come towards me, right? So he could just look like this, and I'm going to release that pressure. And then I'm asking for a step, just helping him understand that some pressure is not going to kill him because he's not been sure. And I have some other donkeys like that. They're just not sure what's going to happen if they give to some pressure because they think they have to be in control of everything, but it's not the case, right? But I have to help them find comfort in the moment. So remember that real training, it's not a checklist. It's not just I picked up the foot and I cleaned it or I let them or I was able to get them to go forward. It's that they're finding comfort in the moment and that some have to wait their turn, right? Like maybe life is busy at home or at work or with the kids, or a different donkey needs extra attention. Be patient with yourself just like you would your donkey, guys, because you're not behind. You're just prioritizing what you need to get done. You're making judgment calls, and that's what we have to remind ourselves that we're keeping the system and moving it forward, but we're not checklist people. Keep that in mind, okay? Because I don't know about you guys, but I can get pretty hard on myself if I have a big old list and I want to get through all of it. So if today felt messy or incomplete, you didn't get everything done, give yourself grace just like you would your donkey, guys. Now, if you guys have any questions, make sure you put them on here. That's what I'm here for, guys. I'm here to help you along your journey. Um, I will be doing, of course, my Monday and Wednesday videos this week, but I haven't got my Monday video done yet, so it's probably going to be later in the day. Um, I'm pretty excited to start checking out some of these new donkeys that we have, and to get the ones that we have in the gentling program graduated. So Lewis is going to be graduated, and Veronica is going to graduate this week. Um, Lewis, I'm working on picking up his feet, and well, oh, this is a good one for when you're working on their hind feet. When you can get them, if this is their foot, when you can get them on their toe, and then you just rub their foot, and then you have somebody else just shovel oats in their mouth. It's a great way to really help them know that you being back there is not going to cause any pain or uncomfort for them. And Lewis, he is accepting that now, and I'm able to wiggle and jiggle his foot. So when they're on their toe, instead of on their whole foot, when they're on their toe and I'm rubbing their leg, then I kind of just grab it and I just see, will you let me move it even an eighth of an inch? Because I'm working on comfort. And every time I've had a donkey that's kicky, I just need to go back to this, and it works. I probably shouldn't say every time because every is hardly ever true, right? But almost every single time I have used a rope to pick up their feet and teach them if I have one I think is going to bite me or something. But even my hardest ones, just helping them find comfort in the moment. Now, if you guys are enjoying this, please do hit that like and subscribe button because it really helps the YouTube people know that the videos are good and helpful, and then it shares them with more people. So if you guys don't have any questions, I don't think I have any more to share. Just go ahead and put in the chat if you guys have any more questions at all. I'm probably going to start incorporating more riding videos now because I really want to I want to be riding more often than I am. How many of you guys out there are working on riding your donkeys? I know some of you are and some of you are not. Corey, I know you will be. Are you riding any of your donkeys right now, Corey, or not yet? I know some of yours, I think, are trained to ride. Hopefully, you guys are having good weather. We're getting some rain, and the rain here is good. It's so dry. It is so dry here right now. So we're glad that we're getting rain. It just got me inside. Fred is now under saddle. Awesome. That is so awesome. That's going to be fun. And now, when you guys start under saddle, I like to work on them moving all four legs. I stay in a round pen or some kind of smaller area to begin with. And then as soon as I can get out, I take them out. Now, here's kind of a funny story, guys. The first time I took out Wild Donkey Honk, and oh, it was stormy. It was with my aunts. This was over a year ago now. And it was the first time I was going to take Wild Donkey and Honk because they got started under saddle close to the same time out on the trail. And I don't know if there was a bobcat around or something, but there was like later after this all happened, like the day after it all happened, there was a dead deer on the road, on the trail. Ezekiel is working in that direction, carrying a pack saddle to get in shape. Oh, that is so good. And if you can pony them, that is so helpful, or walking them, that helps them get into really good shape. So the first time I took Wild Donkey and Honk on a trail ride, they did not listen at all. They were horrible. And I was kind of like really bummed out because my two aunts who taught me how to ride, I got my first two horses, one from each aunt. So I was really kind of excited to show them what we were doing. And, we went out on the trail and we had to turn around. It was just bad. Now, all of them are great on the trail, but that was the first time. So remember when you're going out for the first times, have smaller expectations. If you can have somebody who is already doing well under saddle, it can be helpful to bring somebody who's, not green, because green makes things, they're more nervous when they're green, and that's okay. But short stints, like stretching the rubber band and not breaking it. So if your donkey is comfortable going out on its own, awesome. Go as far as you can. But if they start getting worked up, don't try to force it more. Say, it's okay, we can go back. And then you can just keep kind of making a rubber band circle, see how far you can go without having them freeze up or get really anxious or upset. And it's fun. Have fun with it. I'm super duper excited to get more trail rides in. And Wild Donkey when we were in Arizona, she did amazing on the trails. I was so proud of her. She froze up during the arena games and the trail obstacle course because she got scared. So when they get scared, just remember that they're a donkey, and later on they won't get scared because Seamus doesn't get scared really of anything anymore. He's not the fastest donkey in the world, but he's fully safe. All right, guys, let me know if you have any more questions or comments because I love hearing from you. This makes the Go Live so much fun when everybody is interacting like you guys are. I love that. And we will be back next Sunday. If you guys have any things you would like to talk about next Sunday for Go Live, totally let me know. And I think I'm going to do a members only Go Live this week too. So if you're in that tier, let me know and I'll send out notices to everybody who's going to be watching, right? All right, guys, I look forward to seeing you. I know so many people on here are coming to my clinics. I cannot wait. We're going to have so much fun. And you guys all have a great evening. And thank you so much for being here and supporting and watching. You guys are totally amazing. See ya.